KMWFO. We are live here at the Black Lives Matter rally that took place earlier today. I mean, it's been good. Great energy, great vibes. Had the privilege talking to a few of my homies here. Now, having great conversation. Getting to know somebody is good, but we're looking for solutions, not just to yell or to scream, but we're looking for solutions and how we can change stuff. And make sure that you're a part, man. Be a part. Google it, YouTube it, find out, become a part of the solution. So find out something. You know, we got so much going on. We got push happening. We got stop the violence. We got snug. We got a lot going on, and you want to be a part. I'm gonna be a part because sitting back, I've sat back too long. So be a part. Much love, peace. I see y'all. I don't know what else to say.
I am the founder and president of Power in Numbers. I am also a member of Black Lives Matter. We had this rally today in reference to the national media attention that has been focused on police brutality in the minority community. And we came today to have an informative meeting with the public to let them know that if we want to see a change, we have to be the change and we have to force the change. We have to demand accountability and transparency with our law enforcement department, and we also have to be accountable as a community. We are all on the same side. Black Lives Matter is also inclusive of All Lives Matter, but unfortunately right now we have to highlight the issues that are taking place within the minority community as it pertains to law enforcement. We are dying from routine traffic stops, so it is with my hope that everyone who came to the rally left with the knowledge of how they can participate and further the conversation from just a hashtag to something that we exercise within our city, county, and state governments. We want our politicians to be for the people, and for those who are not for the people, we are going to vote them out, and that's what this rally was about today.
So, what are your feelings on what's going on around the country right now?
Well, in terms of what's going on around the country, I feel that there is this great miscommunication about what Black Lives Matter really means and what it is that we're trying to do. We're calling for not only the humane treatment of our minorities, specifically African Americans, but justice for the African American community is justice for everyone. If justice is supposed to be blind, then we have to realize that it's going to take everyone within the community, and we have to get on one accord. And right now, the one chord that we're on is that Black Lives Matter, because at this point, it seems like they don't.
So if somebody wants to follow you or wants to get involved, how can they do so?
Well, if you want to get involved, what we recommend is that you become involved on a local level with your block club, with your community policing. We ask that you become familiar with who your representatives are and the issues that are in your community and where those representatives stand, so that when it comes time to vote, that we remember that. We want more accountability. We want more transparency, but what we want is humane treatment for everyone.
And I want to thank you.
Creative for it, systematic, it's allowed. It was the plan. It was the plan.
Say it's the plan.
It's the plan.
So how do you feel about what's going on in around the country? And do you think it could happen here in Buffalo?
Yes, it could happen.
It could happen right now.
They wanted to. I mean, look at, what's the girl's name at the Holden Center?
It did happen here.
Right, it's been here.
It already happened.
It's gonna happen. We're gonna bring it here. We're gonna be really sick. Because we're gonna feel like we did everything we could do to prevent it here. And here, are you protesting for it to not happen here and then it happens to you?
Sisters, brothers, cousins, nobody's safe from it because it's systematic.
The problem is that they think prevention is a part of it, a part of the solution. Prevention isn't part of the solution.
Right.
somebody said something about preventing a senseless act. How can you prevent a senseless act? That doesn't make sense. To an educated mind, that should not make any sense at all.
So what is your solution?
Personally, I don't have a solution. I feel like my mind isn't developed enough in this to provide a solution. I know that I have a voice though, so I'm going to use my voice to the best of my ability. I can think of possible solutions, but I wouldn't recommend a solution because I don't have the education that's necessary to provide one. But there are people who do have that education and who do have that expertise to provide one. And that's where I would look to try to form my own opinion on a solution and to look for a potential solution. I wouldn't try to provide solutions myself because, like I said, that's not what God put me here to do. So I will listen, I will learn, I will continue to learn and learn as much as I can and gain insight. But yeah, that's what we all need to do. We all need to become more knowledgeable and continue to learn and continue to try to understand and keep acting like we know what we need to do.
One thing we can do as Black people though is come together as a community. Come together in unity. Spend our money in our community, not go spend it with corporate America. Uplift our brothers and sisters, teach the young, and be one, be a race. That way we can't fall for this bullshit.
I mean, it's no secret that Black people are the unicorn of the human race. That's why they hunt us. They would use our if they ran out of sidewalk, they would walk on our dead Black bodies. They would use our babies as ashtrays, like gorilla hands. They want to be us so bad, they hate us. What you gonna do? I just want the right to decide to do something bad before I'm blamed for it. That's all I want to do. Go to bed at night, get my 8 hours, wake up in the morning and decide to do my dirt. The free will that God gave me, that any religion gives you, or if you don't believe in a religion, that you're born with. The free will to choose to do what you want to do and then accept the punishment. I believe in crime and punishment. I don't think we should run around free. But I don't want no one person deciding to be my jury, my judge, and my executioner in 4 seconds. That seems like a short time. I don't know.
So what would you like to see change here in Buffalo right now?
First of all, real civil disobedience. Waiting for police officers to clear you for a protest is not civil disobedience. It's being very obedient.
And obedience doesn't bring about change. Not the change that
We are obedient. I mean, look at us. We're all educated young Black people of color. We've done what we're supposed to do.
any
Grow up,
of
go to
these acts could
college.
happen to us.
Right.
Any of us. It could happen to any of us.
So that would be my next question. Do you fear being a Black man in Buffalo, New York?
I don't fear anything. Fear is the downfall of men. So to continue to fear something could potentially be your downfall. And you learn about that when you just want to be successful in life. You're not supposed to be fearful. God didn't create you to be to walk around with fear. Fear will hold you back. Fear will not get you to where you need to be. Fear is the anti-everything. But it's the downfall of
Is
man.
it a reality? Yes. That's a reality we face every day. Every time we walk out of our house, it's a reality.
And not because you're fearful, because Black men are feared. That's the problem.
Right.
These natural born kings, these natural born queens, they're feared. And if I wasn't Black, I'd be scared too. These Black men, 6'2", strong as can be, with these Black women, with skin that don't wrinkle, with bodies curved from God, God's favorite children, I'd be upset too. I'd be scared too.
I want to thank you. Now, basically, what is the age range of everybody here?
Early 20s,
19 to 27.
That was crazy, y'all.
We are 19 to 27.
You know, because millennials look at life a little bit differently than, say, your mid 40s, you know. So I'm glad that I got your opinion, you know.
Thank you. Thank you for the
Okay, tell them who you are.
My name is Tim Clemens. I'm a Prince Hall Mason of the state of New York. I'm also the 7th District President of the state of New York. What I want to say today is it's a shame that we're looking at things so one-sided. Our kids are being murdered by this society that we pay to serve and protect. It's not just blacks, it's Asians being killed, it's Mexicans being killed, it's Puerto Ricans being killed, it's our kids that's being killed. We need to focus in on what they're doing to us. They're distinguishing everything that will be meaningful to our culture in the near future. If we let Trump get in office, it's just a preview of what's going to happen to us. Thank you.
So, in the rush of everything happening, what are your feelings about what's going on around the country?
With blacks, they've been doing this to us for years. Until cell phones were invented, they wouldn't even recognize that they were hanging us from trees and dragging us behind cars. Racism just didn't start with white cops. It's been around here for hundreds of years. We need to address the real issue is that we're not accepted as people and that we're not accepted in this society but to be labeled. And it's just shameful. It's always from Trayvon Martin until now. They've been showing us this stuff on TV and they steady showing us that they're not going to do anything about it. The guys are getting slaps on the wrist. They're getting administrative leave where they're still paying them like they're on vacation.
And so, what's the solution to the problem?
The solution is we got to put more minorities in these jobs. And the biggest thing is, if cops want to be in our neighborhood, live in our neighborhood. Get to know our neighborhood. Just don't judge us by what you see and how we're dressed. Come in the neighborhoods and get to know the kids of the neighborhood.
Like my brother said, we really need to create change from within. We need to get in these positions of power and really change it from within. That's the main way because, like the brother was saying, we just got too many of us that are getting killed. And nothing is being done about it. And that's why you have events that are going to be taking place, like what happened yesterday in Dallas. Some people are just to the point where they're fed up to the point where they put their life on the line and do stuff like that, and people are getting killed. That will happen less if this change is created and everyone is treated as equals. But until that happens, you're going to have things like that, unfortunately, where people just lose it and they go off because they're tired of this systematic racism that's taking place here. We just need to create this change. And if you're one of those people that you work with those police that are racist, that are targeting young black males, if you're not saying nothing, you're part of the problem. If you're silent when you see this happening and you don't bring that up to anyone, you're part of the problem. So this change needs to be created. And the people that are around these people are the first people to spot these people out. And if you're not doing that, then you're not helping us. You're hurting us, and you're on that same side of racist people that's committing these crimes. And that's a damn shame, because what is the reason she is suspended for? I mean, she is speaking an honest viewpoint, her honest perspective, and she said nothing that should have got her suspended from her job. It just shows that they don't want certain things to get out there. For this cop to be giving her viewpoint and get suspended for no reason.
And then you take away people's opinion. Public policy should be that, my opinion, because if it don't mean nothing to me, it just don't mean nothing. This means something to me. I'm tired of looking at the news and all we see is our people on the ground being arrested for literally nothing, and then at the same time, half of them is not making it to jail now. Now they just killing them in the streets. And even if we're legal, we're illegal.
Right, and my question is, where is NRA right now?
Yeah.
You know, he was a legal car carrying, pistol permit person.
Yep.
Where is the justice?
What they're saying to us is If we catch you with a gun, we're going to shoot you down like a dog. Whether you got paperwork or not. You're just shooting us like animals, like fish in a bucket. Whether the paperwork is there, or because it's not bass season, don't mean we don't supposed to take bass off the lake.
It shows us that even though the ones that have taken the right approach, went and got the paperwork, went and got that permit, it shows us we're putting the lose-lose situation too much. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. She did what she was supposed to do. She was in the car telling him. Their hands was up. His information that he needed to give, his wallet was in his back pocket. How is he supposed to get that when the officer asked him for that if he wants him to have his hands up? He told him to go get it. And then he goes to get it, and his girlfriend says ahead of time, nice and calm, never in an intimidating way, that he has a gun on him, but he has a permit. It couldn't have been said any better in advance, and still he gets gunned down. So what option did we have there? It's a lose-lose situation, and that's why other things happen later on when you give us no option.
And what happened to the cameras these guys supposed to be wearing? Everything conveniently turns off when something happens. It never worked when something happened. Something that we paying taxes so you could give us a fair shake don't work when it's time for it to work. I just find too many coincidences.
How y'all doing? My name is Ron Howard, and my question is what are the qualifications of these officers? They're letting a lot of these officers get into the force, barely no education. A lot of these officers are in fear of a lot of these black young men. You've heard it before where I believe it was Hillary Clinton called black young men the greatest predators out there. And this is not only a sentiment that she has, but it's a sentiment that's shared across America. We have to erase that stereotype. As long as they put us in that barrel, as long as they can fear us, they can have an excuse to kill us. And like I was saying at the beginning, we need to raise the qualification of these police officers. We need to find out their biases. We need to find out their backgrounds. Because you can't serve a community who you hate. And as long as things like that are going on, I mean, it's never going to change. And we're out here to help, to help manifest the change, because I have 4 sons and I have 1 on the way. 5 boys, and I'm scared in this America that we're growing up in that, they're going to encounter cops. They're going to have a situation to where, no matter if they're listening, if they're cooperating, just like the young man in Minneapolis, they still may be gunned down. And it's a fear that's real for all of us. Not only our kids, but us as adults as well.
So, what are you teaching your sons to deal with the environment in the situation that they're in right now?
Well, I definitely teach them to be respectful. I mean, you have to be respectful in a certain manner. I teach them to be respectful, but at the same time, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because, even if I teach them to be respectful, if this person doesn't respect them for who they are, they still may end up in a bad situation. But at the same time, I try to teach them the right thing, to teach them to be respectful. Yes sir, no sir, no matter if the officer is white or black. At the end of the day, I want you to come home. We'll fight it in the court, but we can't fight it in the street when they got you held down and next thing you know, a gun goes off and they're in fear for their life because of you. So I definitely teach them, no matter what, be respectful in the situation, make sure you're on your P's and Q's, and at the same time, make sure you get home. Because we can fight them in the court of law, which is not exactly the arena we may not want to be fighting in, but at the same time, you're alive, you're home, and we have another opportunity another day.
Fellas, I want to thank you. And this will be on. Hey Frank, now what are your feelings about what's going on around the country right now?
I have several concerns. Number one, as there's an attack on the black man, period, which is obvious. Number one, there is police brutality, which I don't like, but there's also the conflict of us hurting ourselves in our community. The death in Baton Rouge hurt my heart to watch that on video. Minnesota, the man in the car hurt my heart. There's the lynching in Atlanta. Those things hurt my heart, and it's like, okay, what do we do to change? And my personal thought is that to yell, to scream, and to holler, and to do all this noise isn't enough, but we have to find a solution and start doing the work now. I believe we need to pray, believe, and work to make a real change happen. Prayer to get direction, believe what you're saying, and put your feet to the plow. and let's move us. And it's stuff. I don't want to be here next year doing the same thing. I want to let this die out. Then we come back next year, we still got the same problem talking about, oh, another black life has died, now Black Lives Matter. No, keep this going. Let's keep this happening and be a part of the solution.
Now you heard that the Buffalo Police Department this evening said they have incredible threats or good, saying that there are threats against police officers in Buffalo. Do you think that city of Buffalo, anybody in Buffalo, would actually try to do anything to a police officer here in the city of Buffalo?
I would love to tell you no, but in my heart of hearts, I believe that you have a generation, a younger generation, middle-aged generation, an older generation, and they're liable to do the younger generation moves based upon how they feel. Not necessarily what's principle or what's right or what's wrong, how they feel. So they wake up in the morning and I feel like doing this is right, so I'm gonna do it. So it's very much possible because they have a hatred and they don't necessarily have an avenue to release their hatred or how they feel, and they're liable to. And honestly, they just might shoot a police officer based out of ignorance. It'll hurt the mother, the family, but it's possible. And I won't even put it past you and say that it's not, because it is.
Well, Frank, I want to thank you.
No problem, anytime. I'm glad to be a part, give my 2 cents. Make sure y'all tune in to the radio station, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Tom Joyner, get your little dance on in the morning. Love, peace, always.